Hello, this is Pat Ray from Pat's again. This is substance abuse group. I need you to grab a piece of paper. I need you to print your first and last name on it so that it can be read. I need for you to put today's date on it. I get a lot of paperwork with no date. I need the type of group, which is substance abuse. And I need the topic, which tonight is going to be your substance abuse final worksheet. If you are paying for this group, you need to write that on there. If somebody else is paying for it, like a probation or another group or entity or agency, please put that on there. Now, we're going to go over the types of questions that you will have to answer before you complete your program to get out of PATS. Yes, in your discharge, you will come in, you will pick up your discharge paperwork, and in it is going to be your final substance abuse worksheet. So now tonight, when you scratch down these answers, I need you to take a picture of that and text it to me, 217-766-9132, or I need you to email it to me at pat@changeisachoice.org. You do not get credit unless you have identified the payer. And if it's you, then you have to pay for your session and take a picture of your progress note, your worksheet, whatever, and send it to me. Okay. Tonight I'm going to go through some of the basics. One of those is, how does alcohol and other drugs affect your driving? The reason we ask that is people drive. They have a few drinks. They don't even think about it. So the first thing that goes when you have drinks or drugs is judgment. It's out the window. So you may have made some really good decisions prior to using, but after that, it will be gone. You're going to make different decisions. Also, it affects your eyesight, it affects your reflexes. You're not going to be as speedy to react because the brain is slowed down, or it is distorted in some way and does not perceive reality. So a car passing you, coming at you, pulling from the side, out onto the highway, the way that you process information may be affected, and that may cause you to react in a way that would put yourself or others in harm's way. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to talk about right quick is, what is moderate use of alcohol? For those of you who were coming to my classes before this pandemic, you know that moderate use of alcohol is, for men, 3 to 4 standard drinks. For women, 2 to 3 standard drinks. And both moderate use is 2 to 3 times a week. A standard drink is a 12-ounce beer, a 5-ounce glass of wine, a 12-ounce wine cooler, a 1.5-ounce shot of liquor. Those are the basics. Okay. The next part that you will be asked is, what are the symptoms of alcoholism and addiction? One big symptom of addiction, whether it's addicted to alcohol or other drugs, once the person takes a drug, Once they start drinking, once they start smoking, once they start doing whatever they're doing, they can't stop. So for people who are addicted physically, that means that when that drug leaves the system, they're going to have some more to replace it. For those drugs like cocaine, crack, meth, the craving is very strong. And they just keep using until they can't get any more, then they crash. Alcohol, they just keep drinking until they can't get any more or until they pass out, whatever it might be. So loss of control is a number one symptom with addicts, with alcoholics. What is your plan to make sure you will not drink or use and drive? What is your plan? Well, I'll call an Uber. Well, I will ride with somebody else. I will have a designated driver. I will stop after 2 or 3. Remember what I said about judgment? That's the first thing to go. So I may have said to myself, well, if I have too much to drink tonight, I will get an Uber. Well, when you have too much to drink, you think you can drive anyway. The key is use in moderation. The next key is you simply do not drive if you know you're going out to have a drink or other drug. You don't drive there. You don't depend on a designated driver because designated drivers get drunk. And it's happened over and over again. And then you drive and you get the DUI. If you have experienced legal problems because of alcohol or other drugs, what is your plan to avoid future legal problems? So, were you in possession? Were you having an open container of alcohol in your vehicle? Were you committing a crime to get alcohol or other drugs? If that's the case, then you need to have a step-by-step plan about how that will not happen again. And you are the only ones that can do that. And if you have a problem where once you use, then you do the bad thing, then maybe you shouldn't use at all. It's up to you. If you are alcohol dependent, can you use opioids such as Oxycontin, oxycodone, some kind of pain medication? Can you use that if you are dependent on alcohol? No, you cannot use it because it triggers the same receptors in the brain as alcohol does, and you're back on the cycle again. If you're not drinking or using other drugs, will it be safe to hang out with old friends who do? You may say, well, I'm not giving up my friends. That's a choice only you can make. But I will tell you this. Many folks have found that once they go hang out with their friends, once they go to the bar and they drink the soda water, the Pepsi, whatever it is, it doesn't work for them. And they're right back where they started. If you always get drunk on beer, and if you change to drinking wine, will that prevent you from getting drunk? No, Alcohol is alcohol is alcohol. It acts the same way in your brain and your body. If you had a blackout, does that mean you have an alcohol problem? Well, as we may have learned in some of our classes already, when you drink or use, the more you drink and use, the more parts of your brain are affected. If you are drinking or using enough that you have passed the frontal cortex, you have now into the midbrain where memories are made, and that has shut down, and you are not able to remember anything, then you may have an alcohol or drug problem because you have used a lot of substance to get to that point in your brain. Okay. The next one is about tolerance. If you build a tolerance to substances, that means that when at first you used and you had one beer and you got a buzz and you quit because that was the feeling, or you smoked a little weed, a few hits, whatever, or you did whatever you did, it didn't take much. But after a while, your brain adapts and changes so that you use more to get the effect that you first got. And over time, you use a whole bunch more in order to get that effect. And sometimes you never get the effect again. That is tolerance. That means that your brain has literally changed to adapt so that you can walk, talk, and do things while under the influence. Because at first it wouldn't allow that. You could only go a little bit. And over time, you have been able to appear sober even with a lot of alcohol or other drugs on board. That's because your brain has adapted. Okay, that's tolerance. Okay. So basically, you want to know what is the difference between somebody who abuses a substance and somebody who is dependent on a substance. Somebody who abuses may use it to deal with stress or a divorce or something along. They're tired, they need to unwind. They may use more than the moderate amount. They may abuse it. They may become intoxicated. However, they don't become dependent. So when life smooths out, they are able to go back to using in a moderate amounts. The dependent person, on the other hand, has crossed the line, is now psychologically and physically, either or both, addicted, dependent on it. They can never go back to social use. They can never go back to moderate use. They have crossed the line into addiction. Once they start, they just keep on going. No matter how bad the consequences, no matter when they go to jail, no matter what they lose, no matter how their relationship is affected, no matter how many promises they break to their kids, they keep using. The abuser has time. Now, however, if an abuser continues to abuse, they can become dependent. All right, that's the long and short of this class. So on your paper, I need to have some of these points written down because you will need to know them at the end of your courses. Okay, have a great day. Send me your homework, and I will talk to you again. Bye-bye.